Hey guys, sorry I am not there with you today. Last minute thing, and so I'm not able to be there. So you have a packet that you're working with a partner on, and I just kind of want to talk you through. A lot of it is stuff we've already done. A lot of it's multiplying, adding, inverses, whatnot. So I kind of want to walk through with you something that we haven't necessarily talked about. Now this is something that not you're not going to have an actual question on the test about it. However, I'm going to have a bonus about it. Okay, it's a little bit past the actual AKS we're required, but I figured it's in the packet. We might as well work through it. But I didn't want you to just kind of work on your own. So once you get to number 7 is kind of where I'm looking. 7A, this part right here, talks about something that we did the other day, and so I'm not too concerned about 7A. You know how to find a determinant. We did that a good bit. It is 7B that I really kind of want to talk about, and on my smartboard it kind of broke up into 2 separate pages, so forgive me, but it does mirror yours. When we are working with the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix, so we've worked with 2 by 2s, that wasn't a problem. When we're working with 3 by 3s, we do it a little bit differently. We're going to do it by hand. First off, you've got your matrix, okay? Matrix B is what we're calling it, and think about A, B, C, D through I as numbers that would be in your matrix. The first thing that we're going to do when we've got a 3 by 3 matrix and we're trying to find the determinant is we are going to rewrite the matrix and repeat columns 1 and 2. So you can see here, we've got these 2 columns that have been tacked onto the end, and it's just a repeat of the first column and the second column. We don't repeat the third column. So we're going to have to rewrite it to start working with the pattern that is on the second page. So let's look at it. It says once you have rewritten your 3 by 3, and it is now a 3 by 5, so remember you added these 2 columns, so now we've got 2 more columns. You are going to take, sorry if I'm blocking videos or I'm blocking views. You're going to take that first diagonal, the second diagonal, and the third diagonal. And you can use a highlighter like I did, or you can use, just circles like they did in the notes. And then you're going to do the opposite direction diagonal. Okay? So top left to bottom right diagonals, as many as you can get. And you can see here, we had to stop. We couldn't do any more because H is the very last thing. There's nothing else. I couldn't, for example, do that. There's nothing there. So once you've done all your diagonals from top left to bottom right, swap and go from bottom left to top right, the way I did in the blue highlight. Okay? And those kind of get you your groups. So you can see this whole thing right here is a formula. It's a very long formula, I understand, but keep in mind, this would be a bonus on the test because it's something going past what we're required to do in pre-cal. But this first little bit, AEI, that is that first diagonal that you circled. BFG is the second diagonal you circled, so on and so forth. So CDH is the third, and then we're done with the yellow highlights. When we are done with the yellow highlights, we shift into the blue highlights. So the next thing you see is CEG. That was the first one. AFH was the second. BDI was the third. But notice the formula, and this is where a lot of people get messed up when they do 3 by 3s by hand. The yellow diagonals are being added. The blue diagonals are being subtracted. So if you plug straight into this formula, you should be fine. So we're going to do this first one. Okay. So you have matrix E on the second page of this packet. The very first page talks about different properties and commutative and associative and whatnot. You should review those. But the second page actually gives you all your matrices. So I'm going to pause the video real quick because I don't have it sitting in front of me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to write matrix E. So you go ahead, find matrix E, and let's write it. You might want to do this on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so I'm back. I've got matrix E written down. You should have the exact same thing that I have. I go ahead and I write my matrix, and then I come back, and because I know that I have to add 2 more columns, I just erase that second bracket. I'm going to take the first column, and I'm going to rewrite it. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the second column. I'm going to rewrite it. We now have our big matrix that we can use to solve for a 3x3 determinant. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab my highlighter. Again, you might want to highlight, it might help you out. And I'm going to start at the top left-hand corner and go down. Then I'm going to do the next one. Then I'm going to do the next one. These represent these ones right here. Okay, those main diagonals, top left to bottom right. So I've got 2 times -1 times 2. Remember, with the yellow, we add. Once we get to the blue, we'll subtract. Okay, so that's all those main diagonals, all the yellow. Now I'm going to come in, and remember, we had the blue, and we were swapping. So I just start from the top right and go down. Now the difference between the yellow diagonals and the blue diagonals is the yellows get added, okay, multiply the diagonal and then add the 3 diagonals together. The blues get subtracted. Now I'm going to have to do it on a separate line just because I'm not going to have enough space to do it on a single line, okay? But understand, all I'm doing is plugging into this formula right here, okay? Yellow diagonals, blue diagonals. So I'd have 1 times -1 times +1, and again subtracted. 2 times 3 times 0, 4 times 0 times 2. Okay, I have 3 of them being added, I have 3 of them being subtracted. Now just because this looks a little cumbersome, I'm going to come back in and rewrite things. So the first thing I'm going to figure out is, what is 2 times -1 times 2? Well, 2 times -1 is -2. And then times 2 again is -4. Plus, I'm going to figure out this one. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 1 is 12. Plus, on to the next one. 1 times 0, I'm sorry, is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. Now I'm here, and because I'm onto my blue diagonals, it's subtract. 1 times -1 is -1, and -1 times 1 is again -1. On to the next one. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 0 is 0. And the last one. 4 times 0 is 0. And 0 times 2 is 0. So that looks a little bit better for me now. I can plug this straight in my calculator, or I can just kind of go piece by piece and figure out what it is. -4 plus 12 is 8. Plus 0 is still 8. Minus a -1. Well, that minus and negative really turns into a positive. So 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 minus 0 is 0. And minus 0 again is still 9. So the determinant for matrix E is equal to 9. It's a lot of work the first couple times that you do this, okay? But you'll get a little bit more used to it. It'll be a little bit easier every single time. So if you need to go back and rewatch the video, do that. If you need to go on and find some other videos on YouTube, fine, okay? But use this. Help complete your packet. Remember, the packet is due by the end of class. You're not taking this home. You and your partner finish it, okay? And I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye. Bye.